Hey, hello. Welcome to Python 0 to Hero. Do you like the counter earlier? That's the new thing, and I forgot to mute myself like usual. So I hope it's not feeding back too much. Yeah, I just muted myself on my because I have a laptop that I monitor all the chat and stuff. So that's how I can, react to you if you say hello to me, or if you ask the questions, then I can see your chat. So yeah, so today, this month, first of all, is our testing month. Yay! So yeah, so we'll be having, for each Sunday in this month, we'll be talking about something related to testing. We also talk about linting somehow. It's not testing, but it's really help when you lint your code and make sure that everything is working. Hey, how are you? Yeah, D3. Sorry, I keep calling you D3 because yeah, I really can't say all your name. And Michael, good morning. Yes, it's 2 p.m. in UK here, but maybe for you it's in the morning. And yeah, actually, like I just have my morning coffee, so yeah, it's morning for me as well. Anyway, so yeah, we got to talk about testing today, and because last time I do believe we have talked about let's do a recap. So we have it's so bright. Okay, so yeah, we have actually talked about a lot of things in Python. And good afternoon. Yes, yeah, you're in the same time zone with me, maybe at D3. Yeah, great. So yeah, like we have learned a lot of things about Python already since we started, and all these basic stuff that we need to know how to do things in Python effectively. Learning how to write functions, modules, those are important. Also using like if, else, and loops. Last week we covered a little bit about how to do string operations. So how we change. This is very useful when you're cleaning your data. If you're using Python for data manipulation, data mining, all this stuff. So that's actually very useful. And also regular expressions. That's something that is, yeah, learn more testing. We will go to that bit soon. Yeah, because last time we covered all this stuff that about string manipulations, regular expressions, and we have also a few weeks ago covered some basic of Pytest. So this week we're gonna dive deeper into Pytest because we already learned the decorators, and actually we would use some decorators in Pytest to help us test things. So yeah, so let's learn about that, and also we would also talk about mocking. It's very useful, especially when you're testing some API calls, which I'm actually so something's gonna be a little bit different today, because instead of I made up some examples that usually is in the case in my previous tutorial, that the our very simple e-commerce thing, that actually we are going to do some like real life stuff, because like currently I'm working with some tests for the Terminus DB client. So it's an API client with some other kind of constructing a JSON for the clients to send to the backend. So there are lots of calls, a lot of tests, and we'll see if we can improve our tests by using all these stuff that we learned today. Okay, so yeah, so mocking will be used because we have a lot of requests, and also all those calls that is actually um, using that mocking in Pytest actually help us a lot to do that. So first of all, I want to talk about some like more advanced Pytest stuff. So the first thing I want to talk about is fixture. So fixture actually is kind of like a helper function. So in your test, so you can write a functions that is called before you run all your tests. So it's useful when you, let's say, if you need to create an object. That would be like the case quite often in our client, our API client, because we may want to create a client object for testing. So so that would be helpful. And also yeah, you can also inject the data for your test as well. And yeah, so uh, I found this example. Actually, I won't run this example because I just like grab it from this tutorial online. Um, oh no, actually this this explanation I grabbed it from this tutorial, but this script I grabbed it from the Pytest documentation. So it's very very standard. It's but I want to put it here because I want to you have the example here to understand what I'm talking about. So how to use fixture, this example so it perfectly, that actually you call a decorator within Pytest. So Pytest provide this fixture decorator that you call. So you import it from Pytest. So it's pytest.fixture, and this decorator will make your function a a a fixture function. So for example, in this is case here, SMTP, this function actually is like calling an object from the SMTP library, and here it's become a fixture. So and then you can use that in your test. So you will see why we do that in a bit. Actually, because when you have a lot of tests, then actually it's good sometimes you want to keep the object there for all your tests, so you have to use a fixture to do that. So yeah, you will see from the example later, or actually like I could show you from the documentation here. I would found that example because like there's so many examples that I think rather than me copy and pasting it, I would just like put the reference link here. Oh, by the way, like if you oh, what is a decorator? Oh, you missed my tutorial about decorator. Okay, so long short story short, a decorator um is a function factory. So what this decorator fixture here is doing is that, well, the syntax is very funny. You put an add in in front of it, and then you put it in front of a function. But what it does is that it will take this function SMTP into the decorator, and the decorator will do some modification with it. So it may wrap it up with something. Usually, you wrap up the function, do something before you actually run the function, do something after. So, so and then when you call this SMTP, you call the modified version instead of this original version. Sometimes it's very useful because, for example, like this fixture here, you don't have to worry about, or care about what Pytest done to your function to make it a fixture. You just, write something that customized, this is the custom bit, right? This is the thing that you want to do. And then for it to turn into a fixture, you just call the decorator. It would just do all these like wrap it up things for you. So it's like it's like this is your raw material, and this fixture decorator will take your raw material and make it into a product that is a proper fixture for you to use in your test. So in this case, you pass it in as a argument, and then you can use it. So yeah, so that's a decorator in a short explanation. So if you're interested, you can watch back my previous tutorial. I believe it's 2 weeks ago that we talk about decorators. Then you'll have more idea of how actually decorator works, and how to write a decorator actually. um so okay, so before we go to the demo, I want to show you that example that actually I said is useful. That when you have a multiple test, then you can put a fixture there. So also there is um, so first of all, you can actually make a fixture in a separate a module. You can, for example, you have a lot of testing files. So it's like in my case, I have a lot of testing files testing different bits of my library because you would have a lot of tests, and you don't want to put them all in one file. It would be like maybe 3,000 lines. You don't want it to happen like this. So or you may want to make it easy, more readable, easier to collaborate. So you have different files, but you're going to use the same SMTP function here. So how you got to do is that you got to put it in an other file. So this is another file. It's called config, like conf test.py. So I think it's config test, and you write the fixture like you would do if you write it in just one single, if you like the previous example, it's a simplified version, you put everything together. But you write your fixture here, and you set it as the scope equals to module. So in this case, the fixture decorator knows that, okay, this thing, when I wrap it up, I will make sure that it's usable in all your test files. So in your separate test file, actually, you can still call SMTP. And even though it's not in this PY file, Pytest will look for it somewhere and then found this here in the con test file, and grab this function for you to use. Okay, so yeah, so it's just like the example output here. It's working. Actually, I want to see if I can show you in my live coding in a second, so you will see how that works. So the thing that it become useful when you have, for example, here you have multiple tests. So right now the setting is that every time you run the test, it will create a separate SMTP fixture for you, right? So it well it's not really taking any advantage. Every time it would just be a new object that you call from this SMTP library. But if you want it to be the same object, actually you can you can do this like finalization and tear down code. So what happened is that you can do the setting. Let me see if I can find example code here, and yeah, you can say that it's oops, I believe it's here. Yeah, so you have this fin, which is a tear down code that is closing it. So yeah, if you set the scope, actually, if you set the scope to module, it won't shut down until you run all the scripts. So if you want it to be every time to be a new one, for example, I have two tests here, yeah, in the previous example. So if you want it to be a different, you know, SMTP that you call, you need to change the scope into not modules into something else, but um, yeah, but if it's a module, and then it will actually like keep the same thing until you finish it. So this one is you can actually put a closing the connection here on the teardown function, with your fixture. So it's more complex. That's why I didn't put it in the script. But I want to let you know that you could actually do that. So this request is different from the request library. It's actually something with Pytest. So what this is doing is that it lets the fixture to communicate with your test. So it kind of knows that that okay, the test is done, and then it would run this finalization script to close it. So yeah, you see that is yeah. So if you run it, and then you see that it's only printing this finalizing after you have done all your tests from the module. So because the scope is set to module, that's why. And if you want it to be every single one of them, you have to change this scope equal to module thing. Okay. And right. So yeah, this I'll cover this afterwards. So I will come back to this. Hey, beautiful people! Hi, how are you? Yeah, lovely to see you. Yes, Tasco. Yes, hello. So, um, right. So this is Fixture in a nutshell. So what I gotta do now is to apply it in real life. So I gotta go to my coding thing here. So you see, oh, there's a bunch of code already. You can see that. And this is actually our, it is all open source. You can find it on our Terminus DB repo. Uh, this one is in the dev branch. We haven't released this new Python client yet, but we will do it hopefully later today. And if you want to know, pay attention to our announcements. I will let people know if you're interested in our Discord community of Terminus DB. But well, today, just like try to improve this using a real life example, real work that I'm working on. This is my work. I got paid for this. Hello. Yeah. You following? Okay. Yeah. Let me know if you have a problem understanding what's going on, and I could explain to you a little bit. Yeah. So yeah. So this is a real life example. I got paid to do this, right? So this is my full time job, and so this is actually a real life example. You see, I already used some mocking here, so we gotta not do this. We gotta go to another test. So this test, I think is we can maybe try to make a fixture on this mock result, because now it's a bit simple that we just like, oh, make a constant here, but what if I want to make some modifications? So in the future, if I make more tests that maybe I want to test another case, then this one is not that favorable and it's a bit messy as well. So can we use fixture on this one? So let's see if we can change that. But before we make any modification, we want to make sure that everything works now. So everything that changes and make it fail, that's my fault that I broke it. So make sure that it works. So like this is my advice. So if you work on a piece of work that you have never worked before, or you just pull it from your GitHub repo, you're not sure that whether all the test passes, you can run some tests before you do anything changes. So you know that whether it's something, whether things went wrong because of the change. So this is just a little tips for new Pythonisters that they may not be experienced with all these testing things that's going on. So run Pytest. I want to run all my tests in my test folder. So yeah, here you see from my terminal there, you've got all this green, no red, no fail, yay! So yeah, so it's working. So anything that I break from now is my fault. So because this is my local copy, if I break it, it's nobody's changing anything except me. So that's my fault. So let's try to, and okay, we got to write some fixture here, right? So yeah, this is live. I have never done a trial run before. This is absolutely binary run. I would have made a lot of mistakes. I would have typos. So if you spot anything, type it in the chat, and that would really help me out. Because the thing about like live coding is like different from coding in in 2 a.m. In your own room. Is that you got a lot of pressure and overlook things very easily. So okay, so I gotta write a fixture function here. So first of all, I have import Pytest, which is good. I don't know why I did that, but yeah, okay. For no reason. Like I don't know why. Okay, Pytest. So because I have import Pytest, I can use Pytest.fixture. So that's a decorator. Your salary. Oh yeah, salary is yeah. I've heard about that, but I've never tried that. Yeah, and oh, this is Atom. Yes. What plugin are you using? I I didn't pay attention. Like I didn't install any custom plugin. I think except one syntax highlighter for a very strange language that is a query language. It's not a common language. And that's it. I'm using Atom. So if you're interested, you can use Atom. Uh, Personally, it's my favorite. Well, I haven't used a lot, but I have used it since I start coding professionally, and I kind of I'm okay with it. I kind of like it, except it crashes sometimes. And but well, of course, there's always some little bugs, or maybe I'm abusing it too much. But most of the time, it works fine. So I kind of like it. You can try it. It's free. It's open source. It's also provided by GitHub as well. So it's got like really cool functionalities. I don't know if you can see on the right hand side. Yeah, and also my code is got like covered up. So let me do this. Okay. Yeah, so on my right hand side, well, it's all covered up now, but like you can do all these like commit things on your right hand side, right? So mm, back to our stuff. So fixture, how should I name this one? So I want to make it like a mock mock response is taken by another test, so I don't want to name it mock response. Maybe I would use mock result. Uh, okay, it's a mock result. It's a bit alarming. Oh, because it's the same name as that. I think it's fine because like Python is case sensitive. So and because I am just okay, I'm doing the simplest version here. I'm not doing crazy stuff that I put it in another file and make it the scope global like the scope module. So just like baby steps. So I'm just like writing it here for now and not doing anything fancy. So what I gotta do is that I would so this mock result will return this. So it's very simple. So let's return this instead. Okay, instead of like declaring a constant, I have this. So yeah, all this the indentation now is horrible, but don't worry because I use black. So I think in one episode in the future I would cover black. So what is black? Black will fix all this indentation and everything for me, which is amazing. I'm loving it. I think as long as I don't poke it outside of here is fine. I'm not sure. That's why we need to run it afterwards to see if I broke it. Okay. So okay, we have this fixture. So how to use it is that I have to put it in my testing. So this one is using the mock result. So I think I have to put it here and use the mock result instead. Yeah. So okay, I would just run this test to see that my new mock result is working. If it's not, then obviously I've done something wrong. So I gotta run a specific test. This one is called test. Oops. Yeah. What's the code? Wow, cool. Oops. wow, lots of naming like things are similar. So in Pytest, by the way, I don't know if it's big enough for you to see, but in Pytest, you can run a specific test file by after you have typed all these blah 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 and then dash k and then put the name of the test here. So you just run one test, and I think it's a different way than what I taught earlier in my other tutorial. But dash k actually do like kind of a checking like what. So now it run two tests because because I think there's another test that the name is similar here. So what it does, it will like look up all the tests with this name. So if you name something that method 2, then it will also be run because it also satisfied this naming. So you can type actually like half of this and it will still run a test that satisfied that lookup. So yeah. How long will I go on stream? Yeah. Ooh, okay. Yeah, I understand that. Don't worry. If you have to go, my this streaming, I would I would put it up online, and you can actually like within 14 days, you can watch this, from Twitch again, and also in the in the long run, if you come back after a month or so, I would I would put it on my website. I will make it into a video. So don't worry if you're busy, you have to go. I understand that we all have our lives. You can catch up with my videos, but if you're free, I recommend you to stay and help me to live code and ask me questions. Okay. So right, so it's passing, so we're fine. We're doing well with this fixture thing. So actually, we can do change all of these stuff. So let me try that. So, I'm gonna just do the same, and so it's not exciting here, but so yeah, I would put a mock here because then people know what I'm doing here, right? So it's just gonna return this. Oop. Right, and the indentation is horrible. Let me fix that. Okay, so it's returning a list of stuff. Okay, and I have to change the name of this as well. So where did I use it? Where did I use it? Where did I use it? Oh, actually, I didn't see myself using it for some reason. Maybe because it's lost in the. Ooh. Yeah, maybe it's lost somewhere that I'm not using it anymore. That's super interesting because I haven't touched this test for a while. Oh, it's here. Okay, I use it in Parametrize. Oh, this is another spoiler. I didn't know I have done all these stuff before. I'm so sorry. Okay, I won't change this one then, like because I use it in. I don't want to make things complicated, because I use it in a I use it in a Parameterize that I forgot that I've done that. Okay, so I'll leave it like this for now because we have already showed you that you can change, things in the fixture, and so now it's just like returning this stuff. But in the future, if I want to grab this from an actual core or grab it from a file or something, I can change that, right? So I can put this in a separate file and use some like read file, because this is basically a JSON. So basically I can read, from a file. So I can, so instead of just returning it and hard coding it here, I can actually put it in another file and open the file and read it from there. I can even create a JSON DOMs to JSON loads to load it in. So yeah, I think I won't gonna do that for now, but that's what I plan to do off screen. I'm gonna put this maybe in a separate file so I don't have to have these hanging around in all my scripts to, covering all these cool stuff below. Okay, so yeah, so this is the way of using fixture that, if you have similar case like me, or you have a, so this is actually a result that is supposed to be come back from the back end. So obviously when you're doing, if you're just testing a client, you won't be like running your backend to test against it, because it's core and integration test. It's more complex. I may cover that. I haven't decided yet, um, but if you just want to, make sure that your code work, you don't want to send this back and forth with your backend every time. So you can actually store this somewhere and then, use fixture to inject it in your test. Okay, this is case one done. Okay, let's go back to the presentation, and we have more stuff to learn actually today. I'm a bit worried that we would like be super overrun, so I've got to go quicker. So okay, Mac xfailed and skip. So real life scenario, I have I have lots of tests that because this Python client, actually all the tests exist before in the past, but we have just updated it, all the logic changes, and we have to um, change all the tests. And since we have developing it and this stuff, all these tests will fail, right? Because they matches with the old version, it doesn't matches with the new version, and like you're coding, but all these tests are failing, and you're really annoyed, and you just want to tell Pytest that, okay, I know it's failing, like I would fix it tomorrow because it's 3 a.m. now. I don't want to fix all these tests tonight because I would be super exhausted. I would make a mistake, and it would take me forever to do it. So you want to mark it as fail. So tomorrow, or even your colleague, maybe your colleague will pull tomorrow and then like check all the test, and oh, this marked fail. So I know that these are failing, and this is something that we have to work on. Or sometimes you want to skip a test because let's say the backend is not ready yet. You want to skip this test to test with the backend. Like I said, you don't want every single time when you run the test you check, do a super big a job. So sometimes you want to, could you skip that temporary? Like I don't want to deal with it for now. So save the test for later. Basically, that's what you're trying to do. So um, this is how we gotta do it. So the syntax is here. Is like Pytest mark xfail. I will show you, how it looks like if I mark a test fail. I would purposely make a test fail and then mark it for you too, so you know. And so this is very simple. You just put this decorator in front of the test, like put it in front of your test function, then it will be mark failing. You can also mark the reasoning for why it's failing. You can just put it. I'll show you in the live example. That's So when your colleague or look at your code and say, okay, this is failing. Why? And then actually I have an idea why this is failing. Maybe you have updated, some logic, and then oh, we have to update this new logic, and so you're at this function, or this method, then your colleague knows that, okay, this is why it's failing, and maybe we should look at it. And skipping a test is just mark the skip. And yeah, I also got this explanation because this tutorial explains things like in a very nice like way, because the official documentation of Pytest sometimes is explained in a very technical, like deep kind of way of looking at it, and it's like difficult to understand. It's like, what do you mean by that? And this tutorial actually explains things quite well, so I put the link there. Have a look yourself, and because there's so many things there that's useful. I can't just put everything here in my slides. So and yeah, so also the very useful thing about skipping the test is that you can actually skip a test depending on the condition. For example, here, yeah, you can see that, this test won't work for Python 3.3 or below, so I just skip it. I think that's super smart, because, for example, well, I always use my Python client as an example. We have those data frame things that you have seen before. That is only, it should only be run if you have pandas and numpy in your environment, because it depends on those. Otherwise, the import numpy and all this stuff will be broken. So you can actually put that there as well to check it. Do I want to do that? Maybe I want to do that. I will see how we're gonna do that. So yeah, so this is useful. Obviously you usually you will have your test environment, be consistent. You would, test it on a specific version of Python, and also test it on a specific list of dependencies, the library that you install. We'll talk about that maybe in the future. I would talk about talks, and talks let you create a consistent environment for testing. Um, so yeah, or actually Travis also do that as well. Travis is an online testing, testing tool that is very popular. It's like GitHub Action. GitHub Action could do the same thing. Is that whenever you push your code, you push new changes to your GitHub repo, and then Travis will, if you set it up properly, Travis will know you have made changes to the code, and it will grab all these, new code and all the tests and run it on in its, cloud environment, and so every time you run Travis, Travis will create a new environment to test it. So it create a consistent environment to test it. So yeah, I will talk about testing environment like maybe in the future. I don't want to go too deep in it, but sometimes if your project is open source, there will be a lot of people trying to run the tests, and this may be helpful when you want to not scare your user or scare your contributor that oh, why is failing for me, because it's not supposed to support lower than Python 3.3. So if you're using that, maybe you shouldn't run the test, or maybe you should use a Python, a newer version of Python to run this test. Okay. Um, so yeah, let's see if we can add some. Well, first of all, I gotta show you the xfile first, right? So let's come here and let's go to. So how we gotta do this? So okay, we gotta purposely make one test fail. Um, so what I gotta do? Sorry, guinea pig. Today this test is my guinea pig. So hello guinea pig. I want to make you fail. So assess zero. Zero is considered false, so it will be failing, even though it's not a real test, but it will fail. Okay. So now if I run this test file, so what I gotta do is I gotta go to terminal. So I gotta, instead of running just like some tests inside, I gotta run all the tests in this py file. So you should see there will be fails. So three of them fails. Ooh. Oh yeah, because I haven't updated the other ones. That's my fault. Maybe I should do that. Yeah, maybe I should do that. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Rewind. Let me fix. let me. Okay. Let me make all these paths first. So yeah, it should be using mock result. Oh, why I didn't change that? That's strange. Oh, that's really silly me. And this one as well. I want to use the mock result. Thank you. Right. And what else? What else? I'm just eyeballing it because it's a small file. So if it's a big file, you may want to use the search. I really like the search functionality in. Oh, this is so yeah. You can't see. I'll just put a bunch of spaces here just for you to see. Yeah. So in Atom actually, it's very good that I like the find functionality. You just do Command F in Mac or Control F, and here you bring up this. Now I'm blocking it. Okay. You have to take my word for it. And there's like below you can still see a little bit of it that you can put in like things that you want to find and things you want to replace. And it's very useful when you, for example, like what I did before, if I have a mega file that I change the name of something and want to replace all of them. So yeah. Okay. I would keep it there because it will push the code up a little bit so you can see the code better. Right. So I've changed all these. So let's make it all pass first, and then we're gonna make one fail. Okay. And oh, okay, now it passes. Yay! I'm a happy person. Okay, so let's make this one fail. Not this one. This is a fixture. This one. Okay. So assert again. Assert zero should make it fail. Yeah, I'm being brutal with it. So you are failing. Okay. So here run again. Right. Yes, it fails because I have assert zero. So this is silly, but it's an example. Haha. Okay, let's mark it fail. So Pytest mark dot xfail. Okay, so let's just mark xfail first and see what's going on. And where am I? Okay, let's terminal come back. Okay, let's run this and see what happened. Yep. Now it it's still green. Green usually means that everything is fine, right? I hope you can see. Can I make this bigger? Maybe I can make this bigger. Every time when I set it up, sorry, bring it away. So every time when I set it up, I thought, oh, okay, it's fine. And then when I do live, and I was like, this is not big enough. This is always the same story. Okay, I hope now you can see better. So you see that it's green here. So instead of before we mark it xfail, it's red. They're saying like something's wrong, fix it now, right? One failed. And now it's green, so it's like it's okay, things are fine. But there's one xfailed that's like marked fail. So you can see the first one got a cross there, which is not red like before. You don't have all this error message. This is like before, it's a big fat F there saying failed, and you got like all these outputs that's like, oh, where it fails. It's asserting zero, so it's asserting false, so it's like it's not passing. And now you get everything green. It's not showing that was wrong. It's just say that one thing is mark failed, so something failed. You better look at it in the future. Okay. So let's put the reason why it fails. Okay. So the reason is I make it fail. So check make it fail. So I am the person behind all this. Makes it fail. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Let's run it to see what happened. Just like yeah, messing around with my test. Oh, oh, oh! I can't put it like this, or what? Why it doesn't? Okay. So let's go back to my slides, and I forgot to have a look at how to do that. So yeah, it's actually in here. No, yeah. So make a test to be skipped. Yeah, this documented it. So maybe I make some silly mistakes. So let me double check quickly. Yeah, documentation is your best friend because people always do silly stuff. And like me, okay, it failed. And yeah, reason. Oh, I have to put reason equals to. That's me being super silly. Okay, let's fix my silly mistake here. Reason. Yeah, yeah, reason equals to. Okay, and let me run it again. See if this one is fine now. And yes, it's also marked xfailed, but it's not showing me the reason. Why? I want you to show me the reason. Oh, yeah. Why it's not showing? That's not very nice of you. And bigger than this. Okay, forced running and report. Hmm. Hmm. Okay, so maybe I have to put something like this. So I can't really show. Yeah, I can't really show that. Something like this. Maybe I would just copy what this does, right? Yeah, let me see if I can do the same thing. I don't know why. Like I think my use case is not a very use case here. Okay, so let me see if I can put this here. Version. I am using 3.7. So oh no, this is just its version. Let me see if I can do this first. Mm-mm. Yeah, now it's showing me something. Oh, this is. Can I be like. Changes? Yeah. Why I have to do this? Mm-mm. Import. Sys. Yeah, I just wanted to show. Why it's not showing the reason here? Okay. So. Okay, so now we know that it won't show the reason for whatever reason. So let me remove this one because I don't want to import this. And yeah. So actually, I don't need it in real life, so I gotta remove that. And okay, so let's go back to this. Okay, so another way to run all the tests that fail, you can do this and then dash dash. And what was the message again? Let me cheat again and have a look. Okay, so okay, run xfail. So you can actually run all the xfails here. That. Yep, so it should run that test that fails. Yeah. So this one, now this is like ignoring the X file and become what it happened before. That, give me the big fat F saying that I failed. And this is used when you trying to fix all the xfails. That you can use run xfails. That means that don't skip that. Give me back my failed things, and I could fix it. Okay. So and yeah, that's it. And let me tidy this up because I don't want to mark this xfailed, and I don't want this to failed at all. Okay. Let's go back to the slides. We can go back to the slides. And actually, this is not the slides. Here's the slides. Okay. And right. So another thing you can do with the Pytest, dot mark is to parameterize your test. Actually, you can do it with fixture as well. So like I said before, fixture, you can use that to inject some data in your test. So what if you want more than one choices? So for example, like what I've done before, I have one set of result I want to test against. So that is a mock result that is supposed to be given back by the backend. So what if, oh, I have another case another day, oh, actually, this is only one of the possible results that I get from the backend. I may get something else that I want to test as well. So you need to have different parameters. This is one way to do that. If in your fixture that you want to make a different, test case, you can have, you can just like after your scope module, you just put prompts equals to and put it as a list there. And let me see if I can demonstrate that by doing something. Well, I will show you afterwards, but let me go through the slides first. I'm always ahead of my what I'm supposed to to talk about. So yeah, so like this is the example before in the Pytest documentation. You see that it's doing this prompts. It's adding. So instead of making it like a gmail.com every time, you also put mail.python.org here. So yeah, this one. And um, inside, so now you don't put the constant here, you don't put this one here. So it put request. I'm sorry, I just had my lunch and I'm super full. And yeah, request a prompt. So it will use this, use two of them. In two cases, it would choose different ones and replace this one. So and yeah, so that's the thing. Shall I try it? Yeah, let's try it before I go to the other case, okay? So what we can do is that this one is one of them. So and so okay, what I can do is to make another example with this. So let's put this. Well, this would be super big, right? So maybe this is not a very good use case. Let me see if I can find something else that we can do that. Okay, so we have. So this is a big test as well. No, this is the deprecated test. And where is the test here? Yes. So let me see. So yeah, some of these could actually be parameterized. You can see that this like limit 10, all this stuff. And maybe this one doesn't matter that much. I remember there's one that's testing ascending and descending. So oops, not this one. The yep. I was working on it like the whole week, so like I know what I'm looking for, but it's not really showing things here. Maybe we change that somehow. Oh, maybe it's the ordered by. Yeah, see what's going on here. Yeah, so there's the ascending case, and we delete the descending case somehow. So yeah, so I can't really show you this, do I? Can I? Yeah, so basically I want one that is descending order. So instead of making another test, I can do the parameterize to change this. So let's see. Oh yeah, but the result won't be the same. Okay, so this one need more work. Okay, so I can't show you this with my code here. And let me think. Let me think. Yeah, I thought I got this. Like I know there's a case, but actually it's more complicated than I thought. And oh, I know the other one will be plus. Yep. So this is just doing mathematical things, right? So you are like adding 2 and 1 together. Okay. So maybe we want to try other things as well, not just adding 2 and 1 together. Maybe adding a negative number together to see if it works. And well, it worked because like it's just creating the JSON. So this could be any string, actually. But let's just for fun, let's see if we can parameterize this. Okay. So what I gotta do is that I gonna do the same thing right as fixture for this. So this is going to call my what I'm going to call oh, maybe I can inject this object in here. So okay, I inject this from the fixture. Okay, so now I have to write this plus object fixture. So right, so again, I want the Pytest fixture. I know now you're screaming, oh, do I have the Pytest import? I don't, so yeah. Right. So, Pytest fixture, I gotta write my fixture here. It's a simple fixture that I don't take anything. What I gotta do is, for now, I have to, add the parameters afterwards. So, return, Waco, query. What was that actually? I kind of forget. Silly me, silly me. Okay, it's supposed to be something like this. Okay, and I gotta put it there. Okay, so this is our case one. So we can actually parameterize it after. So I can, change that into two different things. So yeah, and also this one I can actually turn it into the parameter. Okay, let's parameterize this. So um, so prom equals to something something. So let's do this. Okay. Oh, sorry, I'm not showing the code. Yeah, sorry about that. Sorry. Thanks, Lace, letting me know. Sorry. Sorry about that. Like, but you don't have to look at me doing all these crazy stuff. So what I did, I'll show you, is that yeah, this is the fixture that I write. So this is a plus object. Where I gotta use this plus object is that I have a test plus method, you know, that I gotta make this a parameterize. So I gotta change this 2 and 1 into a flexible parameter. So I want to try something else as well, not just 2 and 1. I can try, different things, maybe a 0 or a negative number. But actually, like in this case, it's not super useful because I don't know why there's all this comment here. I have to yeah, to reset, but ignore that for now. And yeah, so it doesn't like affect that much in our case here because in all these method do is actually translate. The plus method is only translating this into a JSON file in a dictionary. So yeah, and also this one won't pass as well when I parameterize it because the answer is expecting is like to be 2 and 1. We have to also improve this because now it's a static answer. It should be a more dynamic one if we parameterize it. But anyway, we just gotta do this for fun, okay? So we gotta write a fixture that I inject this object like I did in the previous case. So I go back here and yep. So now this is not parameterized. So what I gotta do is that I gotta put prompts. So I gotta okay. The first one I would test 2 and 1. So I would put 2. Actually, I can just put 2 and 1 here, and I can modify them later. Ha ha ha. Okay. So the first one is 2 and 1. The second one is a tuple as well. Let's put a -1 and -1 and 0. How about that? Okay. So I have two use cases, and so I could do so what I'm going to do is that it depends on it. I will return different ones. So I will return. So first of all, create an object. So no, actually I have to make it a string. So make a string. Okay. So what it should do is to do a oh don't want to do map. Okay. Uh, which I don't do quite often. No, actually, you know what? I don't like that. I will do a tuple comprehension. So um, for x in proms So this is string str. Yeah. So actually this is yeah, because like using x is actually bad practice in Python, so you gotta try to think of a name. Okay, so this one will create, we take the so is it prompts or prompts? Oh, request of, yeah, request dot prompts. Okay, so this one actually will be either this one or this one. It would, the Pytest will put the different one here, and I got this, and then it will change it into a string here and create a new one, a new input here. So I can replace this into make stir. Okay. I hope you are okay with this. This is a little bit, uh, it's a tuple comprehension. It's like a list comprehension, but it's making a tuple. So, and I hope I'm using these correctly as well. Let me double check. Proms, so no s there. Yeah, that's what I'm suspecting because it's just one of the parameters, not two. Okay. And now I have this, and we better use this, right? So let's find it here. So Waco object actually, okay, this is silly, but I gotta just reassign it because I don't want to rewrite all this code. So yeah, so now it should be equals to that. So we should got one pass and one fail because like I said, the answer here that we are checking against only take care of the first case. But let's see if that's what I'm expecting. So okay, I just want to run this test because I don't want to run all these million of tests. So, and we'll change this into waco.py and just run this test by doing -k and see what happened. Okay, yeah, it's running two different parameters, but I am spelling request wrong, is it? Let me think. What have I done wrong? Request. Oh, I haven't. Yeah, I should put a request as the core subject there. No, no, put a request in. What am I talking about? Okay, put a request in the fixture because you have to let fixture communicate with your test case. So that is the request there. So in my fixture, I need to have this. Oh no! Sorry, I'm silly. Okay, so this one should be here. Okay, now it makes more sense. Right, so it should be in the fixture here. I'm being silly, and yeah. Okay, let's try that again. Let like fix all this stupid stuff. So let me run that again. Yep, and not sure why. Plus object. Did I do that correctly or not? Prom goes to request. No, this is what the documentation is showing me. Why is it not working? Okay, this is very interesting here. Yeah, just say that it doesn't got that thing, which is sub request plus object for. So it's a sub request, and it's got proper. Oh, I spelled it wrong. Is it? Yeah, I spelled it wrong. Right. Okay. I flipped the R and the A when I'm typing it. I don't know why. And right. Okay, yeah, so this is giving me something new now. That, yeah. Actually, actually, it can't be a 0. So, yay, I found a bug. I found a bug. And, yeah, I found a bug. I found a bug by testing 0. Ooh, I am excited now, even though this test totally failed. But I found a bug. Yeah. Yeah, I think. Ooh, wait a second. This, yeah, what is two errors? Well, there should only be one error. Why is it saying two errors? Ooh. Or maybe, oh, wait a second. Maybe the thing that I put in is wrong. Oh, I know why. I know why. Sorry. That may be me making another stupid mistake. So, oops, sorry. So this one is a tuple, so it should be unpacked. Yes, that's my mistake. That's my mistake. Okay. So let's run that. And yeah, okay, this is what I'm expecting. Okay, cool. Everything is under control. Everything is under control. Okay. Yeah. So one pass, one fail. This is what I'm saying at the beginning, that the first one should still pass, and the second is failing. So yeah. Okay, because because our answer doesn't take care of the second case. That's why. Okay, cool. And I should. Okay, now actually I will keep it as it because I got to show you how to skip the second failing case. Okay. Oh my god, this is getting me excited. So what I gotta do is I gotta go to the second option first, and I've gotta show you how we're gonna make one of the test case skipping, like, or mark it xfailed. Okay, so parameterize your test in a different way. So instead of using fixture, we can actually mark it as a, you know, um, so mark it pytest.mark the parameterize. I don't know why my tongue was like so right. So before, if you already have a fixture function that is injecting the data, then um, actually, it's more natural to do it like what we did. We in the fixture we add the parameters there, so it generate um, fix, you know, different fixture for your test. But if you don't have that, and the quickest way to add the test, a different parameter of the test, is to use parameterize with Pytest.mark the parameterize. So parameterize, I don't know how to say that, but but so I gotta show it in the data frame here because I've done it before without me remembering. so so what is going on here actually? This is a very good use case, which I forgot to switch my screen again. Sorry about that. 1 second. Okay, so, and I have to hide it so you can see it better. Okay, so, and you see that, here I have uh, I have this dictionary there. So maybe let's look. Yeah, I'm also like jumping ahead as well. Okay, let's go back here. So let's show this like daytime use case first because it's easier to understand. Okay, so daytime here, is a list, and it consists of two things here. So it's like two tuples. So in these two tuples, it contains three objects. So there's like this object that is a daytime object, so it's a date, and the second one is a date, and this time delta means that like it's a time difference. So it's one means that it's 1 day. Okay, so so what you have to do is like in your test, you just need to put uh, what is supposed to be what's the name of the thing that is supposed to get from your data. So this is the data that you input. This is what they're supposed to map to. Okay. Um, so yeah, I think that I can't find a better word to explain that. So you have the data, and then you map all these to. So this one, the first one, we got mapped to A. The second one, we got mapped to B, and the last one, we got mapped to expected. Okay. And then when you write your test function, you would have three things that got input from, and you test it like normally. So this is showing that actually you can make some IDs. So when you run your test, um, so if you don't do this, if you don't do the IDs, it will just say like case 0, case 1. But if you put IDs, then it will show you like case forward and case backwards. So it's just naming your case. Okay. Um, So let's look at the test in my code, and this time I remember to switch. And yeah, so basically we are having like two things from this type. So we have the data type and expected, and this test type is actually here. Okay, so this is the test type. So this one will become the data type, and this one will become the, what's that called again? The second one, okay, where was it? Expected, yes. So um, so yeah, in that it's just checking whether they are equal after I put it in the function. Okay. Let's run this test and see what's going on. Okay. So let's go to test the data frame. Right, and then you see that one test become four tests, five tests actually. You see, there's five tests going on here, and they all passes. Well, what I can do is I can change the logic and make it fail, and you see how it looks like when it fails. So let's test that. It should all failed, and yep, it could say that the first one that is this one is quite difficult to see, but yeah, you got all these five tests fail, and you can see that is yeah, it's showing like it actually show you this like different parameters here. So if like now it's all of them fail, but if you have only one of them fail, then you should get this. Okay. So what I gotta do now is I gotta change back my logic to the correct one, and it should pass again. And then we gotta uh, change the stuff that we was working on, that plus things. Yeah, this one. So now I decided I don't want to use fixture because there's no point for me using fixture. How can I use that in mark parameterized? And well, we could do that. Let's go to plus and let's do a decorator Pytest, and it's a mark. Parametrize. I can never spell that. This is actually this time I want to have the string in there as my input. So just like input string. How about that? And I gotta have my data here. So input string is actually it's input triple, but well, my naming is horrible anyway. So don't mind me. I'm going to make a 2-1 here like I did before. This one should pass, and the other one is the failing one. That is 0 and -1 or something like that. Okay, right. And now it should, if I put it. Oh, sorry. This should be second argument. The first argument should be, what should I call that? Oh, actually, you know what? Yeah, this is the two things that I have, right? So I could have first and second. Uh, yeah, just name it for a second. And oh, this one should be in a string. Sorry. Yeah, and it should be a input string here. Okay, and this one should take first and the second here. Okay, right. So this time, this will become the first. This will become the second. And so this one, I want to have the object back. Please let me copy that back here. And I don't need this anymore. So I'm just gonna copy this back here. And oh, let's find this. Okay, plus object is not plus object anymore. It's this one, and this one should be first and second. Hello, hello, the solo coder. Welcome. And yeah, I would try to look at the chat like once in a while, so I know if people are coming in having questions. Sorry, it has been like an hour since I started because there's so many things about Pytest that is good to experiment. Okay, and so yeah, this one is using Parametrize, and I don't actually need the fixture. Let me delete that. Let me nuke that. And yeah, this one I don't need you anymore. Goodbye. And yeah, so right. So let's try this one. And yeah, actually I can use a fixture to modify this answer as well. So I think it would be taking too long. Yes, that's yeah. I think that would be taking too long to for me to write a fixture to change this answer, and it will be like, I don't want to stream till 5 p.m. because I want to go to the shop and buy some grocery. So what I gotta do is I gotta do this off screen, right? But I think I found out a very good way to make this parameterizable by using all this stuff that we learned today, which is super cool. But before I said that, I think I need to run this test first to make sure that things are okay. So I'm always thinking ahead of my time, what I'm supposed to do. So waco.py, so change it back to the other file, and run these tests. It should run 2 cases for me, like before. And what's going on? Why both of them fail? No, it should be passed. The first one. First is not defined. Did I spell it wrong? Yeah, I am silly. Yeah. Yeah, it happens to everybody. When you live code, you have loads of typos that makes you look really stupid. But I'm okay with that. I'm silly anyway. So okay. So now this is what I want. Is one pass, one fails. I got a big fat F for the second one. And yeah, because it's not matching our answer. Our answer doesn't set 0 and -1, it says 2 and 1. So if I want this to pass, I have to use the fixture to make my answer dynamic instead of using just a constant. So yay! I discovered something to improve my test. I am super happy. So yeah, so this I would just keep it as is. Like I would do some tidy up today. Like hopefully I would tidy it up enough so I could release this today, and we could use it on Monday. That would be great. So yeah, I'm going to do some work today on Sunday, which I'm happy with that actually. I'm so excited about this test and stuff. And what's going on is we're gonna mark it fail first, because like I can't just leave it like this, and I have to mark it fail. So uh, if you can still see the slides, I won't switch back and forth because I will forget to switch back. It's like highly likely. So yeah, yay! So it's actually like so. Okay, so look at this code here. Okay, maybe it's too small. I will make it big, and I will try to remember to switch back. Okay, so like here you see that so we got a lot of test case here. Okay, some of them are meant to fail. So some bug, yeah, that's a very that's a very solid reason. Some bug, and so you make some of them fail. So it's just like mine. I have to make the second one fail, xfailed, so I can deal with it after the streaming. Okay, and I can even skip it as well. And I can put a condition there and skip it if I want to. It's just mixing the two things that I was talking about like in the last 15 minutes. So let's try that. Let's try it in our case. Okay, don't need to explain too much if I can. Show you with that. I'm panic clicking button as well. So sorry about that. I make my desktop super messy right now. Okay, let me hide all this junk before I move on coding. So yeah, so you see, you haven't seen my code, so let me switch back. Okay, so, and writing Pytest for the past couple of days. Yay! Yes, that's good. Like, yeah, writing good tests is gonna give you, like, help you to go like a million miles further, because if you create something like as big as I want to show you, like, this is our code base, right? So this is just a test, but we have like a bunch of stuff here. So on the left hand side you see like we got quite a lot of stuff, and this file we got like 2,000 lines of code here. For this one you can see like is super long, and if you don't write test, how can you know which part is failing, which part is not? So writing test is important. That's why like before we release, we have to make sure that at least all the test passes. I even think that the test is not enough. So yeah. So anyway, let's go back to our business. So here we're gonna make the second one fail. So what I gotta do is that, well, this like now we have to just put this in for now. We can't just put it as input stir. Unfortunately, you have to put the whole list in here because I'm following the example. I don't want to make silly mistake again. And yeah, see here. So I want to make this one fail. So what I gotta do is I gotta yeah, follow the example and make some good indentations. That's what I'm trying to do here. Okay, so this one is breaking apart. This one, and yep. Yeah, I think this is easier to see like this, right? Okay. So, okay. So look at our example here that we can do the max. So this is very interesting because like it's decorator inside decorator. This is a bit funny to be honest, but yeah, this is how it works. So I'm gonna mark this xfail, right? And it's supposed to mark xfail. Let's see if this is the case. Okay. So, and oop, it's not. It's complaining something, and I'm not happy with that. What's happening? Well, this this is something that I am not expecting. What happened? Let me look at the example here. I've done something wrong. It's a list, and I've marked it fail. And ooh, okay. I think I spotted. Yeah, I have to put another bracket here because yeah, it's well, the xfile needs a bracket, and inside you put in a tuple as an argument. So yeah, that's how I broke it. Okay. Oh, what's going on now? Uh, why you don't like it? Why I can't mark it xfile? Uh, hmm. Huh. Okay, let me double check. It's like all these error message doesn't make sense to me. And reformat O code to be able to write test for the yeah, yeah, that happens a lot. Like that's why I like TDD. I hope I have time to cover TDD in the future. Not today, of course, but yeah, that's why TDD is good because you won't be like, oh, you write all the codes like exciting, exciting, and then you have like, oh my god, I have to write test and refactorize, and you know, oh, and so yeah. Uh, and also like sometimes linting help because you keep your code in a better way so you don't have to so you may see a place that you have to reformat before you go into all these like monstrosities. So yeah, I will cover linting. I'm sure like there's something that I want to cover. So what's going on here? Let me see. So first, second, and then I have this, and then is all the brackets in places. Yes, and I'm taking this in. Why is still complaining? Ah, so it's just like this one, right? So yeah, expected expected is and oh ooh okay. So I have some fundamental thing that I want to change. That's this one. Yeah, it should be like this. I don't know why before it's fine, but it should be like this. So it's taking two and then taking this one, I think. Oh, and I have to put in a triple. Okay, this is. Look at this. This is like super nested. Okay, so yeah. So I have to put this in a triple. So I'm supposed to put in two arguments that they should be in two. I don't know why it was fine before and now it's complaining. Mm. So okay. So look at this. So this is supposed to be like the name of the two arguments. They are a tuple, so put them in a tuple like this. And this is the list of the possibilities. One of them is the fail ones. And this bracket just belongs to the parameterized bracket, so don't ignore it. And this one is the list, and both of the list is a tuple. So this is matching this one is matching this one, and this one is marked fail, so it's inside this xfail. So okay, triple check, 3 times charm. Let's see. It still doesn't like it. Why? Okay, this is okay. This may take forever to debug, and I don't want to do that. So I am thinking what I gotta do is just to go back to where we were. And yeah, I'm not happy with this. Why does it say like one error? The mark decorator has no length. Why is this? What? You folks, yeah, this is like, yeah, this is something from from these ones maybe, or maybe this one, Pytest.mark. And yeah, this is super funky because it's a decorator within a decorator, so that's why it's a bit strange. Can I just put it like this, or do I have to? Yeah. And this is actually from their documentation, so yeah, git has expected to fail. Yeah, so this is from their documentation, so I don't know why it's not working for me. So okay, I have to let this go because I don't, like I said, I don't want to spend forever to debug this, and I'm so sad with this that is not working as I want. Well, okay, so we're just gonna move on, okay? We got better move on with life. This is life. This sometimes things doesn't work. Sometimes it will work after when you come back to it. So I've done the coding demo. Okay, mocking, another big thing. I hope I can finish it within 15 minutes. Let's see. Okay. Okay, monkey. First of all, what is monkey patching? Monkey patching is that when you are calling something in your test, you can't run it. Like for example, write classes. Sorry, I'm reading the chat. Why I write class of testing in my, yes, always. That's very good. Good for you, solo coder. And yeah, monkey patching is that, for example, my API call, my Terminus DB client, Python API, that it will call the backend. I can't run the test with the backend on, for example. Then all my requests, will call a lot of requests and all this stuff. All of them will be broken, um, because uh, we are not really actually calling the backend, and it's even you have your backend running, it could give you different result every time because your authentication would be different. A lot of reason that it could be different. Your username and all this like login password, everything will be different. So you can't really run that actually like in the runtime. You can't call that request, can't call that API call. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna replace it with a placeholder with something else. So yeah, so it could it's just like monkey patch it. So it's just like, okay, we are not running this for real. We just like put something that is there. So the test would be mimicking what you're supposed to get in real runtime, in production, and just test other logics outside of it. So it got all this things you could do. You can set an attribute of something. For example, in request, you can set the get to something else because you're not actually getting something. Uh, or you can delete an attribute. I can't think of a use case for that. Set item, like instead of attribute, you can also like for an item, you can set it to something else. And environment, I think this is more for an environment variable because environment variable is another external factor that you can't actually run something in a box because it's related to something external. System path as well. You can append a path to help you, and the directory as well. So I think it is changing the directory. So you're like temporary changing the directory, not actually changing it. So this is an example. So I think I am not going to run it now. I just got to show you what we have done with the the mocking afterwards to save time. And again, like mocking itself is worth another talk by itself. I'm thinking about doing a mocking talk about mocking in the conference. So I think I've submitted it in PyCon Africa. So I hope that I would get accepted. If I don't, I may just record it and so to or do a live streaming again to record it. So yeah. So it's about mocking itself. So I can spend like 30-40 minutes just talking about mocking stuff now, like rushing through it. Okay. So um so what it does is that in here I do a monkey patch. I call this fixture if, you know just like monkey patching is a fixture in Pytest, so you can just call it. And and you can do monkey patch dot set the attribute. So you change the attribute of path, change the home of it to this return. So instead of running, path.home will give you the actual path of your home directory. It will give you ABC instead because it got patched with this. So it's taking this from the path and replace with this. Okay. So this is how this works. And yeah, and now like you should actually get abc.ssh like instead of because everybody's home directory will be different. For me, it will be involving my username, and I'm sure that if you run it on your computer, it will be different because you won't have my name as your username. So um, so yeah, this is super useful when you are checking a path or something that involves some kind of it will be machine dependent. So yeah. Yeah, so this function is like, the home, you want to make sure that every time it's got to be the same for everybody. So you change it into slash ABC, okay? So, and so that's monkey patching. So that's monkey patching in a nutshell. That's an idea of why you do monkey patching and how you do it. But that's one thing about it is that when you do that monkey patching thing like before, you have to write your mock return function here. So this one you have to write your own. So this is quite easy. I just want to change the path into ABC. I don't want to, yeah, this is straightforward. But if you have something like a request or something like more crazy stuff. Oh, by the way, request got a request mock of itself that kind of also help you to save a lot of time if you are using request a lot and testing request a lot. But I'm again like I won't have time to cover everything, so I hope that I could give a talk just for mocking for another conference another time, and I will let you know in Twitter if I do. So but yeah, we can actually use mock to help you to mock other complex object like the request library objects. Um, so you don't have to go to the source code of request, look at it inside, and try to mimic a mock. So mock is like a magic that it do it for you. So um, what is mock library? Mock library actually is a standard library now, is sitting inside unit test. So unit test is a battery include test suite. I think I've mentioned it before in my last testing tutorial. So mock is inside. So if you have your Python, you have mock already. Oh, but that's only valid for Python 3. I'm only speaking for Python 3. Python 2, it doesn't. So don't use Python 2. I've mentioned it many, many times. Never use Python 2 again. We are 2020. But in case you're dealing with Python 2 code, and then mock, you have to pip install it yourself. Um, but Python 3 user, congratulations, you already have it. And oh, actually, sorry, to be exact, it's like Python 3.3 or above. So below Python 3.3, you still have to install it. Sorry about that. But um, yeah. So uh, well, I assume that you're using 3.6 or above, so you would have this in your unit test. So it's well, you can read all this, but I'm going to go through all of them, and let's go back to the slides. So um so this one, the mock library, would actually give you an object that led you to monkey patch. I found it in a very nice answer from Stack Overflow. I think I put the link somewhere. Oh, I forgot. Okay, so I may add it back into the slides afterwards. But yeah, it's a very good answer, and I borrowed that saying here. So it gives you an object that you could do a monkey patch, uh, and also like you can do a lot of um different thing. Like for example, you check whether um well, yeah, sorry, like I'm not a modernist, but like I mean like is there are a lot of ways that we always update stuff. Like for example, for security reason, that's why yeah, in tech world usually like there's a lot of updates and patches. That's why keeping up to date is most of the time quite important. So sorry about that. That like I'm not discriminating if you're using Python 2, but there are lots of reasons not using Python 2 as well. So please move to Python 3, because like Python 2 won't be maintained anymore. So there will be like security issues and all this stuff won't be maintained. So yeah, and yeah, so the mock object actually you can you know it's also you can do a lot of things with the mock objects. You can check whether it got called. You can also check whether it got called with X amount of time. and yeah, all this stuff. And so well, again, like I don't want to spend like another 30 minutes talking about that, so let's go into what's going on here. Okay, so um, so we have like something very very cool in the mock. It's called the mock.patch. It's a decorator. Again, I love decorator. If you haven't noticed that, yeah, like decorator is super useful in tests. So so it's well, most of the time you just like use mock.patch, and sometimes like patch.object and patch.dictionary would be useful. Again, documentation is here. I won't go through all of them because it will take another 30 minutes also. So yeah, but I'll just show you the basic use case here. That you see that request again, and that's why I picked this example, is copy from this GitHub gist that is a very very good example. I will also show you my example in my Python library. Um, but in Python, a client library. So I'm not very good at speaking today because I think I haven't drank enough coffee yet. So um, yeah, so this is patching request.get. Okay, so well, it's a decorator. You just use it as mock.patch, right? So when you import it, usually I think it's a good way to from unit test import mock. This is how I like to do it. A lot of people do it this way as well, but you can of course just like unit test.mock import patch, and then you would just have patch here. Some people do that way as well, but it depends. It's usually it doesn't matter that much. And so uh, now it's like we are patching this request.get, so we won't, we'll have a mock get here, and we actually won't call this request.get, but instead we'll patch it with mock get. Okay, so and I think I'm missing something in here. Yeah, I'm missing something. So let's look at the code itself. Okay, I hope this is big enough for you to see. Let me zoom in. Right, it's super big now. Haha. Okay, this is the original code. So I've changed some of them, and I imported differently, and it's using unit tests instead. So they are a slight difference. So but so they should have the mock get object here somewhere that they're patching with. So actually this is easy to see. I like this syntax highlighting in GitHub more, and yeah, so they should have this mock response here. Okay, so they have this mock response that is all this stuff that they do, and then at the end they will return a mock object, and yeah, and then it will just like call the mock response here, and yeah, it will become like you can set the element, and yeah, it will return. So yeah, this is actually more complex than the one that I have, but yeah, so you get the idea. Um, so in this, well, instead of like you call your original function, that it will send a get this elephant thing in your query, that actually it would just replace that request inside with. So actually, like you don't care too much about where this request.get got called. You just like whenever there's a request.get, just patch it with this this mock response here. Okay. So it will, yeah, so return value equals to this. You can also set the return value. So if you don't set any return value, actually the patch will just patch it, like it won't give you an error because your request.get most probably now will give you an error because you don't have your backend ready. So instead of that, give you an error, mock.patch will just create an object that let it go, right? So let it pass. But you can also set the value of what it should come back as well. So you can actually assert it, that the result actually equals to elephant, because this is how you patch it, right? So you put the content equals to elephant here as the response, and the return value is this one, this mock response here that you set up. And yeah, and also is it got code? And yes, so it's like so you want to check that it has been got code, right? So yeah, this is an example that if you're using request, it may be worth looking at a little bit. So yeah, this is your Google request thing. So it's just like, getting the google.com URL and, using the get. So instead of running this get exactly, it would just, patch it with this one here. Okay, so it's just giving this response. And yeah, so that's it's slightly more complicated, this one, because like I said, it's like request is a super complicated thing actually. So yeah. And how about let's look at our case. So so this one I write it like well, all this error thing is bugging me. Let me clear that. I don't want to see my error. Okay, I will just leave this for now and not touch it. Okay, so let's go to the file that got that. Let me open it. Okay, uh, this one. Okay, so I think I write it quite a while ago. So yeah, all these all this stuff are actually like a long time ago that I've written it. And so again, I'm patching the request.get as well. And I can set a side effect. Side effect is like is actually like what is gonna be replaced. So this get actually is got replaced by this mock result. So um, yeah, you can see that I have um, so here I'm checking that this request.get is being called. Okay, so I'm just checking whether it's called and also whether it got the correct parameter here. So you can, yeah, so that's why like this mock object is so good, because it lets you check a lot of stuff. It lets you check whether it got called, whether it got called with the right parameters. You can even check how many times it got called, or even sometimes you want it to be not called or something, because your code should bypass it. So you could check all those. So yeah, so this one, like, I don't know why it's like having monkey patching, because I'm not actually using this one. So this may be, I need some cleanup for that. So let's look at the other one. So this one, I patched two things. I patched the post and patched the get. So I will have a mock request to be, to be a side effect. So it will, we just patch it with something, two, mock request one and mock request two. It just got patched. And actually this is not like important. That's why it's like this, because like basically it's the same thing. And like I don't really care. I only care if they're called with the right parameters. I don't even care if it's like um returning the right thing, because I don't care about what it's got returned. So yeah, like this. Can I show you a more interesting example that I've written? And yeah, they're all like just seeing if they got called with the correct parameters. It Yeah, didn't check whether they're returning anything. So I think I could mock the return of it, like, because the back end would give me a confirmation or some messages, but I could mock that, but I didn't. So yeah, all of these is just like I'm patching these get with something else that I don't really care, and I see if it got called. So that's just that. And instead of just running the request.get, would give me an error in this test case. So yeah, so well, my use case actually is not that interesting, because it's just like see whether it got called. But I think I may have something more interesting in the patch request. Let me see. And, yeah, my memory's fading, but I remember I have like patched something before, but maybe I changed it somehow in the, yeah, okay. So yeah, like, yeah, it doesn't get a lot of things. So yeah, now it's like, oh my god, it's like half an hour overrun from what I expected, because there's too many things. Sorry that I don't spend a lot of time in mocking. So I think maybe if feel if you really want to know more about mocking, I would prepare it better and do another presentation. But if yeah, let me know if you want to learn more about mocking, because like I thought I have a more interesting use case in my test, but like my memory has failed me, so I don't have much interesting stuff. And also, this is another interesting thing that I wish I have time to talk about, is that yeah, I have go through the gauntlet, right? When I write the test, I've go through the gauntlet that the patch doesn't work because I am not in the right path and with the right namespaces. And there's an article in the official documentation. You can read that. But I think I really want to talk about that. So that's why I really want to give a talk about mocking, because um, there are so many things about mocking that I think I don't have enough time today to talk about. I want to give a talk about that somehow. Hopefully, PyCon Africa, if you're listening, um, I want to give a talk about mocking. I've submitted the proposal, but if I am not fortunate enough to get selected, I would still do a tutorial or a record a talk about it. Of course, I will go deeper, prepare much better, more organized. Cause like yeah, this like weekly thing, I'm just like doing it on top of my day job. So I'm trying to teach you as much as I've already done demo. Okay, so yeah, so I think that's it for today. So I hope you learned something about Pytest using the the this good stuff that Pytest offer let you use. Mac xfailed that I'm trying to do, parameterize, and all this stuff. And actually, for the parameterize, actually, it there's another way of doing that, which is I think is it's much better in a lot of cases, especially if you're a data scientist, if you're dealing with data, then you want to maybe do property-based testing. So what is a property-based testing? So you can see that so far, our parameterize is you have to give like hard code it, like giving let's say 5 cases, 10 cases that you think you want to test. But in data science world, if you want to test your model, you may want maybe like you don't know the data. You only know it's an integer, or the data is is a string. So you can't list out all the cases. You can't have all the integers as a test case there, right? So you can only pick a few of them. So a property-based testing basically it you when you do that, you set up the strategy and it will get taken care of for you. So I will be using Hypothesis. This is a library that I discovered during the sprint last month, and yeah, testing hash for data. So I try to tackle that problem with property-based testing next week, and we'll talk about Hypothesis and introduce you to this new concept that could have a lot of potential in testing data. And so, if you are handling data quite a lot at work, stay tuned, and hopefully I can give you some inspiration, some information, something to learn. And so yeah. Oh, by the way, let me know if you want to, have a section about mocking. I feel like I'm not giving enough about mocking today. So let me know what you think in the comment section if you're watching it on YouTube. But if you're watching on Twitch, I do have a box down there. Ask a question, so you can actually put suggestion there as well, and or send me a Twitter. My Twitter inbox is opened. So let me know if you want to, anything specific about mocking you want to know. Uh, Maybe I could get, the creator of of unit test mock to give a special tutorial as a special guest, because he is my very very good friend, and so we could dive deeper into that topic. And so yeah, let me know. And I think that's it for this week. It's been very very long. Sorry about that. And yeah, I will see you. Oh, actually, tomorrow there is a data science tutorial. I almost forgot, at 5 p.m. UK time. So we will talk about some pandas basic. So if you're dealing with data, even though you're not a data scientist or data engineer, but if you have to use pandas to manipulate data, do some formatting of data, um, that'll be helpful, I hope. So yeah, I will see you tomorrow. Bye.